celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @QAndReview. That is @CuendReview. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@QAndReview.com. That is INFORMATION@CuendReview.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
As published on Wednesday the 26th of February 2025, this week's podcast read to you by volunteers Alan, Corey, Hunter, Ian, Jahan, Nikki and Philip, and we hope you enjoy the podcast. Hospice care at home ends. Report by John A. McInnes. A leading end-of-life charity's hospice care at home service, which has been running for more than 20 years for dying people across Greater Glasgow and Clyde, is set to end. Marie Curie has been giving notice by the Health and Social Care Partnerships, HSCPs, that its service contract, which sees Marie Curie nurses and healthcare assistants provide end-of-life care in people's homes overnight, will not be renewed after March 31st. The Marie Curie Hospice Glasgow is not affected by this decision. Marie Curie is now in consultation with the staff impacted, with its focus on supporting them and the people they care for during this time. The charity will continue to have ongoing discussions about what alternative support can be offered to dying people and their families across Greater Glasgow and Clyde, and says it hopes this will result in being able to provide support in other ways. Libby Milton, Associate Director at Marie Curie Scotland, said, "All Marie Curie services across Scotland are commissioned with NHS Health and Social Care Partnerships, HSCPs. The HSCPs have decided that Marie Curie's hospital home overnight care services in Renfrewshire, East Renfrewshire, East Dunbartonshire and Inverclyde will end on March 31st. From April, care will be delivered by the NHS district nursing teams. End-of-life care is a priority for Marie Curie. Naturally, we are saddened and disappointed that we will not be a part of the direct care delivery team in these areas. The charity has played a key role in delivering overnight hospice care at homes and support to people across the Greater Glasgow and Clyde Health Board area for more than 20 years, but that's about to end." Ms Milton added, "Over this time, the way care is delivered within community nursing services has changed significantly. We know how important it is for people to have access to high quality, out-of-hours palliative care, and we know our partners in the NHS appreciate this too. We continue to work with partners across Greater Glasgow and Clyde to look at how services can be adapted and shaped to support care for people in the right place at the right time, and we remain committed to the people of Glasgow and Clyde. We do want to stress that Marie Curie services will still be available to people living with a terminal illness and their loved ones through other services. The charity will still be delivering its fast-track nursing service in Glasgow City and its specialist palliative care services provided by the Marie Curie Hospice Glasgow in Springburn. For people requiring information and support relating to dying, death and bereavement, its free information support services are available 7 days a week. With budgets stretched so tightly, it is timely to hear that new research commissioned by Marie Curie finds that public expenditure for people living in Scotland in the last year of life across healthcare, social care and social security is in the region of £2.3 billion. Public spending on primary and community healthcare makes up only 9%, £117 million, of health expenditure for people in the last year of life, with only 3%, £39 million, spent on hospice care. In contrast, half, 58% of this public spending in the final year of life is spent on healthcare, £1.3 billion, or £21,170 per person who died. Hospital care represents the largest share of healthcare spending, accounting for 85% of total healthcare spend, £1.1 billion. More than half of this healthcare spend, 59%, goes in emergency hospital care, £787 million. Put another way, for every £5 of healthcare spent in Scotland, £4.25 was spent in hospital, with £2.95 spent on emergency hospital care. The figures reveal that the Scottish public purse spends over 6 times the amount supporting people in the final year of life as hospital inpatients than it does supporting them with primary, community health and hospice care. Amy Dalrymple, Associate Director of Policy and Public Affairs at Marie Curie Scotland, said the research showed we are disproportionately supporting people in hospitals at the end of life, and reforming the sector must be a priority for the Scottish Government and health boards. The research underlines that we are what we have known for a concerningly long time, she said. Too many people and their loved ones who care for them are spending their last months of life in hospital, visiting A&E or forced to call out ambulances, rather than receiving well-anticipated, coordinated and holistic care in the community. Most devastatingly, too, many people are dying in places where they don't want or need to be. There must be a clear long-term ambition for the Scottish Government to shift health expenditure on people at the end of life from hospital to community settings. For anyone concerned about the withdrawal of the Marie Curie Care at Home service in the affected areas, may wish to contact their MSP. That report was written by Johnny McInnes and read by me, Ian McKenna. This Week in History. February 27th, 1991. The Gulf War ended after Iraqi troops retreated and Kuwait was liberated. On this day last year, the Queen led members of the royal family at a service of thanksgiving for the late King Constantine of Greece. February 28th, 1966. Liverpool's Cavern Club, where the Beatles made their name, went into liquidation. On this day last year, the Crown star Olivia Colman warned human rights in the UK are under threat as she appeared in a short film about the plight of a young mother whose baby died due to poor social housing conditions. March the 1st, 1978. Charlie Chaplin's coffin was stolen from a Swiss cemetery 3 months after burial. It was found 10 miles away on May 17th. March 2nd, 1949. The first round-the-world non-stop flight was completed by Captain James Gallagher and his 13-man USAF crew. It took 94 hours, during which the plane, Lucky Lady II, was refueled 4 times in flight. March the 3rd, 1931. The US Congress adopted the Star-Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key, as the national anthem. On this day last year, Accrington sacked manager John Coleman after nearly a decade in charge. A short statement on the club website confirmed Coleman and assistant manager Jimmy Bell had their contracts terminated with immediate effect. And that was This Week in History.
Don't Clog Up A&E, a report by John A. McInnes. As people continue to embrace their new year with fitness resolutions into February, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, NHS GGC, physiotherapists are reminding everyone about the importance of warming up before exercising. Over a 6-month period, more than 8,300 people have visited A&E with sprains and strains of the ankle, foot or wrist. That's over 300 people per week. A&E visits by the numbers: Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, 1,896 cases. Royal Alexandra Hospital, 1,971 cases. Glasgow Royal Infirmary 1,535 cases, Royal Hospital for Children, Glasgow 1,619 cases, Inverclyde Royal Hospital 1,292 cases. Lindsay Wheeler, NHS GGC Advanced Practice Physiotherapist, said, understandably, as the new year hit, many have been inspired to go to the gym and take up new sports and active hobbies as part of their resolutions. This is fantastic and highly encouraged, but we're asking all to remember that your body needs time to adapt to a change in activity levels. It is important to take a graded approach, spend at least 3 minutes for a stretch routine and follow gym instructions appropriately. Importantly, NHS GGC is also asking the public to take note of how to treat an injury should they receive a sprain or strain, as A&E is prioritised for urgent and life-threatening conditions. Dr. Claire Harrow, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde Deputy Medical Director, said, the number one reason for people attending our A&E departments is sprained ankles, and sprained wrists aren't too far behind. But the reality is that there isn't a lot that A&E staff can do for a sprain or strain that can't be done by yourself at home. So it doesn't make sense to sit for hours in a waiting room. We ask that instead people review our guides on the NHS GGC website for any muscular pain. We understand that there are times when you might want to chat to someone for advice or feel like you need an X-ray. If that's the case, you should call 111. If appropriate, they'll give you an appointment at a virtual A&E or minor injury unit near you. This allows you to wait more comfortably at home and be treated sooner. That report was written by John A. McInnes and read by me, Nikki.
Old Ale Memorial as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. A memorial cairn to mark the last resting place of many a local resident in the Old Ale Cemetery is underway following a fundraising appeal. On October the 22nd, 1875, the new Woody Lee Lunatic Pauper Asylum was officially opened, and within months the first burial of a patient took place in the unmarked hospital common grave, which is in the Old Ale Cemetery in Kirkintilloch. The last burial took place in 2001. It is not possible to know exactly how many are buried there, as the register only records until 1922. Each name is faithfully recorded in very neat copperplate handwriting. The Just Giving appeal raised money to build a cairn, and work is now in progress in building this. It is expected to be in place by mid-March, and a short dedication will be held on the 13th at 2 p.m. in the Old Ale. Calls for festival to be reinstated. Mid-Dunbartonshire MP Susan Murray has called for Kirkintilloch's cancelled Canal Festival to be reinstated. As reported in last week's Herald, the annual flagship event, a highlight of the local calendar and a celebration of Kirkintilloch's history and heritage, has been scrapped after East Dunbartonshire Council said it could no longer afford to fund it. Susan has regularly attended and supported the festival and has expressed her concern at its abandonment in 2025. The Canal Festival attracts visitors to the town and are providing additional footfall and revenue to local businesses. Susan is keen to see the festival restored and is eager to work with all stakeholders to see this key cultural event back in the community's diary. The Scottish Liberal Democrat MP said, "I was extremely disappointed to hear about the cancellation of the Kirkintilloch Canal Festival by the SNP Labour Council Administration on East Dunbartonshire Council. The festival is a well-loved local tradition that brings families in our community together to celebrate Kirkintilloch's history and heritage, and an event that I've personally enjoyed attending and supporting in the past. It is also a key date in the calendar for many local businesses who will now miss out on the additional footfall and business it brings. The canal is synonymous with Kirkintilloch. Cancelling the festival without a plan to reschedule it does not serve that legacy well at all.
Mother's Day for Tea and Planting. This article is unattributed. This March, Dobby's Garden Centres is offering a new hands-on Mother's Day experience at its Milngavie store, combining a luxury afternoon tea with a seasonal planting workshop. The Mother's Day afternoon tea and planting experience will take place from Friday to Sunday, March 28th to 30th. Guests can celebrate the arrival of spring in style as they explore a selection of new plants and flowers to create an outdoor planter bursting with vibrant seasonal colour, perfect for brightening patios, front doors or balconies. Attendees will enjoy a 90-minute experience that begins with a relaxing luxury afternoon tea. This delightful treat features 3 tiers of sweet and savoury delights, plus unlimited tea and coffee refills. The luxury afternoon tea offers an assortment of freshly made finger sandwiches, including soft cheese and cucumber, egg mayonnaise with watercress, and ham, rocket and red onion chutney. After enjoying afternoon tea, guests will head to the plant area in the Milngavie store, where Dobby's Green team will host a Q&A and guide them through creating a beautiful seasonal planter to take home, worth up to £40. Each guest will receive gloves and all the tools they need, as well as a Cotswold planter made of 100% recycled plastic, available in white or aqua, and a variety of spring plants, carefully selected by Dobby's senior buyer, Nigel Lawton. Tickets for the event are priced at £45 and available at www.dobbys.com/events. That article was unattributed and it was read by Jahan.
Car fire inquiries. Detectives are appealing for information following a car fire in the Lamont Road area of Glasgow. The incident happened around 8:15 p.m. on Sunday, February the 16th, when a grey Hyundai Tucson was set on fire. The fire was put out by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service and no one was injured. Inquiries so far have established that a man dressed in all black clothing was seen running away from the area shortly after the incident. Detective Constable Ryan Carson said, "Our inquiries are ongoing and we are appealing to anyone who may have witnessed the incident or who has any information which could assist to contact us. We are particularly keen to hear from anyone who was in the area at the time and who has private CCTV or dashcam footage to get in touch. Call the police on 101. Bishopbriggs broadband speed. Broadband connectivity in Bishopbriggs has taken a leap forward with ultra-fast networking. Susan Murray MP said, according to Openreach, around 8,000 homes and businesses in Glasgow can now upgrade to ultra-fast broadband thanks to their engineers. This is welcome news and means that families and firms in the town now have the option to enjoy these speeds that will help them do business, study, shop and everything else that increasingly requires a good internet connection to do fully. However, there are still areas that are internet black spots where connections are poor, as my constituents regularly highlight.
It's time to talk mental health, a report by John A. McInnes. Mental health was a key talking point for East Dunbartonshire earlier this month as people across the region got involved in Time to Talk Day. Hosted in Scotland by CME, the national programme to end mental health stigma and discrimination, Time to Talk Day is a national day of conversations about mental health that seeks to tackle the stigma so many people continue to face. This year's campaign shone a spotlight on the awkwardness that still surrounds mental health conversations. A poll of 1,000 Scots conducted by Census Wide for Time to Talk Day found that more than a quarter of people say that they have pushed friends and family away at times when they haven't wanted to talk about their mental health, while a similar proportion say that the desire to avoid a conversation has stopped them from socialising. Almost 3 in 10 also say that not talking about their mental health is better than having an awkward conversation about it, evidence that stigma continues to be a major barrier to many when it comes to speaking about their feelings. This year, people across East Dunbartonshire embraced the spirit of Time to Talk Day with hundreds of mental health conversations taking place on the day. From coffee mornings to walk and talk sessions, workplace well-being fairs, to chats between friends, mental health was a hot topic in workplaces, schools, colleges, health and social care settings and communities. See Me volunteer Lisa Gurley said campaigns like Time to Talk Day are vital to help open up supportive conversations for people who struggle with their mental health, like her. The 31-year-old scientist said, "There have been times where I have been open and people have taken theatrical steps back from me thinking they're funny. Oh God, stay away from you. And these are people who are friends, people that I love, and they've not meant harm in it, but that's the norm. The best thing someone can do is actually listen to what the person's saying and think about what they're telling you and how they're saying it." You can find tools and resources to help you talk about mental health on the See Me website. And that article was written by John A. McInnes. MSP Rona is retiring. A report by John A. McInnes. The MSP for Strathkelvin and Bearsden has announced she will not be standing in the 2026 Holyrood election. SNP MSP Rona Mackay, who was elected in 2016 and then re-elected in 2021, will retire as a Scottish parliamentarian next year. Ms Mackay said, "It has been an enormous privilege to serve the residents of Strathkelvin and Bearsden for almost 10 years. It is a wonderful constituency and I have enjoyed every minute, but I feel the time is right to retire. I will continue to support independence and I will campaign hard for my successor when they are selected. I want to thank the many wonderful charities, organisations and businesses for their cooperation and friendship over the years. We are indeed fortunate in Strathkelvin and Bearsden, indeed throughout East Dunbartonshire, to have such a caring and thriving voluntary and third sector community. I also want to thank my amazing constituency office team who have worked so hard to help constituents in all manner of ways. I truly couldn't have done my job without them. It has also been a pleasure to work with the council group and officers on East Dunbartonshire Council over the years. During her time as an MSP, Rona has served on several committees, including since 2016 the Criminal Justice Committee. She has a keen interest in women in the justice system and has also been convener of the Men's Violence Against Women and Children cross-party group. Rona is a keen supporter of local charities. Grace, a peer-led group which helps people suffering from life trauma, and Deafblind Scotland, which aids people living with dual sensory impairment. Prior to becoming an MSP, Rona was a journalist working for and in national newspapers for 20 years before becoming parliamentary assistant to former Clydebank and Milngavie MSP Gil Patterson. She is looking forward to spending more time with her friends and family and walking the dog. She continued, "My team and I will continue to work hard in the constituency until next year, so please contact my office with any issues you need help with." That article was written by John A. McInnes.
Plan to add 2 classrooms. East Dunbartonshire Council is considering expanding a primary school in Kirkintilloch by adding a new outbuilding containing additional classrooms. A planning application, which has been published on the local authority's website, proposes the installation of new modular classrooms at Gartconnor Primary School in the town's Waterside Road. The new building, which would be positioned adjacent to the main school building, would contain 2 classrooms, each with capacity for 20 pupils. It would also feature facilities such as a cloakroom and 2 toilets, one of which would be designed for accessibility. The project would not involve expanding the number of parking spaces at the school beyond the existing 36 spaces. For further information on this proposal or to leave a comment for consideration, visit East Dunbartonshire Council's website and search for planning application reference TP/ED/24/0690.
NHS Express the Urgency of Help by John A. McInnes. Residents of Greater Glasgow and Clyde are being reminded of the main signs of stroke and urged to act fast if they suspect someone is having one. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, NHS GGC, said getting medical help as quickly as possible could massively improve a person's recovery if they've had a stroke, and could be the difference between life and death. Thrombolysis and thrombectomy are used for the treatment of ischemic strokes, those caused by blood clots, which account for approximately 85% of all cases. Specialist thrombolysis services are available at Glasgow Royal Infirmary, the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, and the Royal Alexandra Hospital in Paisley. It is a type of medication which dissolves blood clots and restores blood flow to the brain. This can limit the damage from strokes. Some patients can also benefit from a surgical procedure known as thrombectomy to remove clots. Patients suitable for this treatment will be transferred to the Queen Elizabeth, where this treatment is delivered. However, these procedures must be carried out within the first few hours of symptoms starting, and any delay can potentially result in a substantial loss of brain tissue and functional abilities. NHS GGC stressed the need for people to act quickly if they suspect they or someone else is having a stroke. The therapeutic window for thrombolysis is usually up to 4.5 hours after symptoms have started, so it is crucial that people act urgently and call 999 as soon as they notice symptoms. Studies have shown that for every 15-minute delay in administering thrombolysis, there is a corresponding loss of approximately 1 month of healthy life, primarily due to increased time for rehabilitation. The main symptoms can easily be remembered using the FAST test: facial weakness, arm weakness, speech problems, time to call 999. Face. Has the person's face fallen on one side? Has their eye or mouth drooped? And are they able to smile? Arms. Can they raise both arms and keep them there? Speech. Is their speech slurred or garbled? The person may not be able to talk at all, despite appearing to be awake, and they may have problems understanding what you're saying to them. Time. It's time to dial 999 immediately if you notice any of these signs or symptoms. Symptoms in the FAST test identify most strokes. Occasionally, a stroke can cause different symptoms, which might include problems with balance and coordination, a sudden and very severe headache, and a loss of feeling in one side of the body. However, there can be other causes for these symptoms. Professor Terry Quinn, stroke consultant at Glasgow Royal Infirmary, said, "If you suspect a stroke, it is vital that you or the person you are concerned about get to hospital as quickly as possible. Acting quickly could greatly improve their outcome and recovery, and could even save their life." The main signs of a stroke can be easily remembered as the FAST test, and if you recognise any of these symptoms, you must dial 999 immediately and ask for an ambulance. The delivery of thrombolysis treatment within the first few hours of symptoms starting can ensure blood flow to the brain is restored quickly, reducing the risk of disability and other lasting effects in stroke survivors. The Stroke Association say that one of their pledges is to support people to rebuild their lives after stroke. A spokesperson said, "We believe everyone deserves to live the best life they can after stroke." Explore their support hub for the multitude of services provided by the Stroke Association. Find helpful advice and guidance for stroke survivors and their families. They're available to support people on their path to recovery. And one of the ways they can do this is if someone has had a stroke, a weekly phone conversation with one of the trained volunteers can help them rebuild their life after stroke. Talking things through on the phone can build confidence. It can help people feel more connected, supported, and able to take the next step in their recovery. Stroke support groups are a safe and supportive space to try things again, to learn more about stroke and self-care, and to build confidence as someone rebuilds their life after stroke. Stroke support groups meet in different ways. Some are meeting face-to-face, others are providing support online. The local group for Kirkintilloch is an online support group who meet on Zoom every fortnight. Slightly further afield is the Renfrewshire Stroke Group. This group provides the opportunity to meet other stroke survivors and carers and share their experiences of stroke, enjoy a good laugh, and have discussions on a wide variety of topics. To find out more about support groups in the area, go to www.stroke.org.uk/stroke/support/groups. For more information, support and advice about strokes, visit www.nhsinform.scot/illnesses and conditions/brain, nerves and spinal cord/stroke. Stroke support. The Stroke Association is Scotland's leading stroke-specific charity, providing lifelong support for stroke survivors and their families. Funding allows researchers to find new ways to stop strokes happening and to treat and support people to rebuild their lives after stroke. Glasgow Caledonian University, under Professor Lorna Paul, is undertaking research on personalised community-based tele-rehabilitation for stroke survivors, funded by the Stroke Association. Professor Paul and the practice team are working with stroke survivors, carers and physiotherapists to develop a new way for stroke survivors to access community-based physiotherapy at a distance. Find out more at www.stroke.org.uk/research/projects. That article was written by John A. McInnes. MSP hits out at a lack of money for council homes by John A. McInnes. Scottish Conservative and Unionist MSP for West Scotland, Pam Gozel, has accused the SNP of dangerously neglecting tenants in East Dunbartonshire. Pam Gozell's call comes after the Scottish Conservatives uncovered that over 160,000 complaints have been made to local authorities in relation to damp and mould in social homes across Scotland since the SNP came to power in 2007. 10 councils failed to respond to the request or did not have the relevant information, meaning the true figure is almost certainly much higher. In East Dunbartonshire, there have been 1,651 complaints made over the last 12 years by tenants. Pam Gozell says it lays bare the deeply damaging impact of the SNP's double whammy of cuts to both council and housing budgets. She added that damp and mould can often lead to complicated health issues for people living in substandard accommodation, and urged SNP Minister Paul McLennan to get a grip on the housing emergency to ensure everyone in East Dunbartonshire has access to a safe home. The MSP said, "The staggering scale of reports of damp and mould in East Dunbartonshire should be a source of shame for SNP ministers in the Scottish Government. It lays bare the deeply damaging impact the SNP cuts have had on both housing and council budgets and are subsequently having on tenants. They are dangerously being neglected by out-of-touch SNP ministers." Having to live under these sorts of conditions is hugely frustrating for residents and can lead to many serious health conditions developing. With 300,000 Scots on social housing waiting lists, we have a double whammy of not enough homes being available in the first place, and too many of those we do have being unfit for purpose. On so many fronts, we have a housing emergency in East Dunbartonshire, and it is time the SNP Housing Minister got a grip of the situation. The level of these complaints should be the urgent wake-up call he needs to ensure everyone living in East Dunbartonshire has access to a safe home. That article was written by John A. McInnes.
Pub duo thanked. Mark Gray and his partner Teresa Reynolds have been thanked by Torrance locals for their charity efforts since taking over the Wheat Sheaf Inn 18 months ago. They organised a charity night in the pub to install a defibrillator, raising more than the required amount of £1,850 to lease and maintain it for 5 years, and an additional £1,000 to Cash for Kids. Over a pint one night, 2 locals, Liam Fitzpatrick and Frank Hepburn, bet Mark to grow his hair and dye it blonde with a blue stripe through it for Cash for Kids, which he duly did. Immediately £400 was pledged and the bet was on. A sponsor sheet was also put up in the bar, and an amazing total of £1,130 was handed over to the appeal. Mark and Teresa also organised a collection of gifts for Women's Aid residents with a total of 37 gifts being donated by local customers.
No change for Lenzie ticket office hours. A report by John A. McInnes. ScotRail will introduce changes to some ticket office opening hours from March 31 to deliver more visible customer support at stations, but Lenzie has been spared. On October 31, 2024, ScotRail published proposed changes to ticket office opening hours based on an assessment, the first of its kind since 1991, which showed a dramatic increase in the number of tickets bought on the ScotRail website, app or at ticket machines, with a significant decrease in customers buying at ticket offices. In the past 10 years alone, there has been a 50% drop in ticket office sales. A public consultation on proposals was previously held by the independent passenger watchdog, Transport Focus, which received feedback from more than 1,500 people across Scotland. Following consultation, further changes were made to the proposals by ScotRail based on feedback and recommendations from Transport Focus. Following last October's announcement, over the past few months, there has been extensive consultation with affected ScotRail staff and trade unions. As a result, the following changes will be introduced on March 31, 2025. 6 ticket offices, previously 12, will have increased opening hours, mainly at weekends, and staff hours will increase. The increased hours at the remaining 6 stations will now be carried out by protection revenue duties to ensure customers benefit from the increased frontline presence. 31 ticket offices, previously 54, will see a reduction in opening hours with staff working elsewhere on the network for the remainder of their shift. Staff will continue to book on and off at their home station. At 106 ticket offices, previously 77, there will be no change to staffing hours. While there may be a change to ticket office opening hours at many of these stations, staff hours will remain the same and will continue to be physically present at the station. This means the station will still be staffed for the same hours as it is at the moment, but instead of being behind the ticket window, the staff member will carry out face-to-face duties on the platform, including assisting any customers who require it and ensuring the platforms are safe. The changes can be viewed at www.scotrail.co.uk/media/50963/download. That article was written by John A. McInnes.
School meals. This article was unattributed. Ross Greer, Scottish Green MSP for East Dunbartonshire, says his party has secured funding for more free school meals, nature restoration projects, and trialling a £2 cap on bus fares. As a result of proposals tabled by Scottish Greens, the Scottish Government's budget for the coming year will now be changed to include the rollout of free school meals to thousands more young people in S1 to S3, starting in 8 council areas in August. A year-long regional trial of a £2 cap on bus fares will also be launched on January 1st, 2026. Other Green proposals accepted by the Government include increasing funding for nature restoration to a record £26 million, free ferry travel for young islanders, free bus travel for people seeking asylum, and help for first-time home buyers by increasing tax on the purchase of second/holiday homes. That article was unattributed.
Can you help shape end-of-life care? A report by John A. McInnes. Everyone will be affected by illness, poor health, dying and bereavement during their lives. Following the shock news that NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde are not renewing the contract with Marie Curie Hospice to continue providing the care-at-home service they have provided for more than 20 years to local residents, the Health Board now want your views and opinions. If you're comfortable in doing so, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde want to hear from you if you're currently caring or have cared for someone at the end of their life, or if you personally are receiving palliative care. Your stories, which will be kept confidential and handled with sensitivity, will help them shape and develop NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde's NHS GGC vision for palliative and end-of-life care. Palliative care helps people of all ages and backgrounds. It focuses on quality of life and well-being for the person, their family, those who are important to them, and the things that matter most to that individual. Types of support provided might include managing your symptoms, looking after your mental health and well-being, talking with family, practical help and advice, spiritual care and support, planning for the future. Experiences can be shared by using the story template, which helps some questions at https://short url.@/BDIYE. If you would prefer to speak to someone in person, please email ggc.public.involvement@nhs.scot. They will then arrange to phone you at a day and time that suits you. A spokesman for the Health Board said, "In particular, we would like to hear from anyone living in the NHS GGC area who is currently receiving palliative or end-of-life care, and also from those who have cared for someone who has died in the NHS GGC area, especially in the last 3 years. The information you provide will help us shape our vision for palliative and end-of-life care." More information is available online at www.nhs.scot/your-health/palliative-care. That article was written by John A. McInnes.
Business pressure. A record low number of businesses were created in East Dunbartonshire in the final quarter of last year, new figures show. An organisation representing company directors warned the falling trend is concerning and called on the government to ease the significant pressures on business. It comes a few days after leading economic forecasters predicted the UK economy will improve more slowly than anticipated this year, downgrading Chancellor Rachel Reeve's hopes to rapidly boost growth. Figures from the Office for National Statistics show 55 new businesses were created in East Dunbartonshire in the 3 months to December. It was down from 70 over the same period the year before, and the lowest figure of any quarter since records began back in 2017. The article was unattributed, and it was read by Ian. The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald, date Wednesday the 26th of February. Opinion, the letters page. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD@JNSCOTLAND.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. What about the elderly? Sir, in response to the article from Ross Greer MSP regarding free school meals, I am in agreement that children cannot learn on an empty stomach and classroom hunger should not exist. However, most parents are in receipt of child benefit, child tax credit and possibly working tax credit. £102 a month for first child and around £68 for the second for just child benefit alone. Child tax credit calculates to quite a few thousand per year, 3,235 child element, plus other elements added on if entitled. When I raised my kids, there were no supplements from the government on top of child benefit. My concern is, where is this type of help for the elderly? Meals on Wheels stopped. Nobody is making sure pensioners are receiving a hot meal every day. No extra benefit for them. Just like kids can't learn if they're hungry, pensioners cannot boost their immune systems to fight off illness or give them the energy they need to function properly without proper nutrition. Don't get me wrong, it's not about who needs food more. It's about equality. Pensioners are just as entitled to a hot meal every day as kids. Where is it extra help for the elderly? Yours, etc. S. Crawford, by email. Independent Advisor. Sir, the recent appointment of Sir John Manzoni, Chairman of SSE plc, as Special Advisor to Scottish First Minister John Swinney, is an affront to democracy. Given the current political climate regarding energy, the fast-mounting opposition to grim infrastructure creeping across Scotland, and multiple planning applications from SSEN being submitted to the Scottish Government's Energy Consents Unit this year, this is a conflict of interest, not to mention blatant rigging of the jury. The Scottish Ministerial Code for Independent Advisors states that independent advisors are expected to provide impartial advice to the First Minister. They must also provide a list of any other professional roles they hold to help ensure that a conflict of interest, or a perception of one, does not arise in relation to their role as an independent advisor. Given his position at SSE, it is contemptuous that Manzoni could be considered an impartial, non-partisan advisor. The fact that he has been appointed to investigate breaches in the ministerial code would be risible if it were not so devastating for those in the position of being under siege from the very conglomerate of which he is chair. Sir John's appointment, along with two others, was announced on December the 6th last year to very little pageantry. If the intention was for him to seamlessly slip into this influential role out of the spotlight, good job. If the two other advisors appointed at the same time provided industry balance, this may have appeared less prejudiced and unethical. However, that is not the case. Groups campaigning against the mass industrialisation of Scotland with pylons, BESS, hydrogen plants, solar farms, wind farms, may like to feel heartened with some sense of achievement at Manzoni's appointment. Rigging a jury is generally done when one side feels they cannot win fairly, honourably and morally. Yours, etc. Eileen West, by email. Parking charges. Sir, the recent revelations that Scotland's local authorities raked in £47 million from parking charges while spending less on managing these systems is alarming and warrants serious scrutiny. This concerning practice turns motorists into a source of revenue, often without transparency or justification. As we strive for accountable governance within our local authorities, it is vital that we ensure that income generated from parking schemes is reinvested to improve local infrastructure and services. Councils should not treat parking charges as an easy fundraising opportunity, but rather as a means to enhance community well-being. Our councils must rise to this challenge by implementing fairer parking policies that do not disproportionately burden everyday drivers. A comprehensive review of parking strategies is essential to ensure they serve the needs of residents while effectively managing local traffic. We must advocate for transparency in how these funds are utilised. Citizens have a right to know how their contributions to council revenue are being spent. A responsible and balanced approach to tariff management can ensure both financial accountability and community trust. Yours, etc. Alistair Marjorie. Address supplied. And that was this week's letters page.
New Homes in Christon Open by John A. McInnes. Tenants are settling in to their new build houses in Christon thanks to a partnership agreement between North Lanarkshire Council and Allan Water Homes. The 22 new homes at Garnkirk Terrace were delivered as part of an affordable housing policy agreement and purchased directly from the developer. It's all part of the Council's new housing supply programme, which aims to deliver 6,000 new homes by 2035. Set in the heart of the local community, these new modern homes for rent comply with energy efficiency standards, helping tackle fuel poverty and create a vibrant and welcoming addition to the area. They are also close to local amenities and benefit from good transport links. Marking the handover, new tenant Annalette May met housing convener Councillor Michael McPake, who presented her with flowers. Councillor McPake said, "Our affordable housing policy is instrumental in our efforts to meet housing needs and enhance the quality of life for local communities. This project is an excellent example of how we're successfully working with developers to deliver high-quality homes benefiting local communities and the local economy. It's great to see and hear firsthand from tenants about their positive experiences in our new homes, and we're committed to continuing the rollout of our new supply programme to improve the lives of tenants, regenerating town centres and communities, and making North Lanarkshire the place to live." The development cost £4.06 million, with a Scottish Government grant funding contribution of £2.118 million. Brian Robertson, Allan Water Homes Director, added, "We are delighted to see this latest batch of affordable homes handed over in Christon to more local residents who will now benefit from all the advantages a new build home brings, such as lower energy costs. It was our pleasure to build and deliver them as part of the Affordable Housing Policy Agreement, and we wish to thank North Lanarkshire Council for their collaborative working practices. Our Christon development, nearing completion, has been a huge success, a win-win for all concerned." That article was written by John A. McInnes.
Savills to market plot of land in Lenzie. Savills has been appointed to bring a prestigious strategic land portfolio to the market in the locales of Bearsden, Lenzie and Mulgai, totalling 80.37 hectares. Comprising 3 prime land sites, each presents an opportunity for significant future residential development, subject to planning consents. The Bearsden site spans 29.6 hectares and is situated at Langfolds Farm, Duntocher Road. The Lenzie site covers 29.4 hectares and is located at Easter Auchenloch, Burnbrae, and the Mulgai site, encompassing 21.37 hectares and situated at Leigh Park, Craigton Road. Savills Development's Nicola Lunn said, "This exciting portfolio has immense potential for future development. These sites are positioned on the periphery of settlements, ensuring a blend of accessibility and tranquility."
Hi, good day to you. It's Philip here from the Q and Review, reading the church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. And if my voice sounds a bit funny, it's because I've got a wee cold. Coming from high temperatures in Australia to cold here in Scotland, I've succumbed to the cold damp. But hopefully I'll get better for Saturday, because I'm singing on Saturday night in Blantyre. And if you want to hear us singing, then we're going to have a concert in Woodhill in November the 29th later this year. So come along and hear a handsome bunch of guys singing. But enough of that. We're now going to Milton Campsie Church News. Last Sunday we visited the care homes Lilliburn, Kintyre and Burston. What a joy as we sang the hymns and choruses which the residents love and remember so well. Unity celebrations with St Paul, St Mackin's and Campsie churches will take place during the second week of March, remembering the World Day of Prayer on Friday, March the 7th in St Mackin's Church, Lennoxtown at 6 p.m. Note the early time. Our Minister Julie is now interim moderator at St David's Memorial Park Church in Kirkintilloch. Meantime, Cafe Connect is on Tuesdays 9:30 a.m. till 12 noon. Time to pray on Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the Eric Liddell room there in the church. And the church session is on Wednesday at 8 p.m. On Friday at 6:15 p.m. They're the Boys Brigade, Anchor Boys and Junior Sections. Then on Monday at 9:45 a.m. Baby and Toddler Group. At 2 p.m. Hobbies Club, 7:30pm, the badminton club meet there in the church. So come along and join any of these activities, or let your friends and relatives know about it. And now we're moving to Home Church in Kirkintilloch, Lammermuir Road, and also their sister church in the East End of Glasgow in Carlisle. Home Kitchen is another cafe church which is in Skelmorley. It's a new church, and you can view that on or hear about it online. And it's a church for all ages. Sing praises to God, sing praises to our King. Sing praises, for God is a King over all the earth. Praise him with a psalm, and that's from Psalm 47. On Sunday, February the 23rd, at 9:30am and 11:30am, worship services followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you at either service, which will be identical. There is also a creche and Sunday school evening service on the 1st, 2nd and 4th Sundays of the month at various locations at 6:30pm. Monday, ladies' prayer meeting, 7pm, read through the Bible discussions on Zoom every fortnight at 8pm. And then Tuesdays, they have the engine room at 9:30am and a Zoom Bible study at 2:30pm till 4pm. Wednesday, prayer and Bible study groups in the church and online. Thursday, prayer meeting in church at 7am. Football at 7:30pm. Fridays, also the youth group meets at 7:30pm. And the prayer meeting is also at 7:30pm. Seems like most things are at 7:30pm. That reminds me of the Church of Scotland, when all meetings started at 7:30pm. That was the old days, and now we're in the new days. And home radio is also available every day, 7 days a week, 24/7. And if you want to hear my dulcet tones, I'm on a Monday night at 8pm on home radio, chatting about what God is doing across the world. So that's all your information. If you want any more information, check out Instagram, Home Church website, for the various churches that they are running. And then in Kirkintilloch as well, we move to Regent Hall on Regent Street on Sunday at 4pm. There will be a family-friendly service event featuring the Kirkintilloch Praise Band, video presentations, and speaker Dr. Carl Smith. Refreshments will also be served after the service. A warm welcome is extended to everyone who is able to come along. On Wednesday, Coffee Corner is open from 12 noon to 2pm for home baking and coffee. Join our friends and neighbours for a coffee and a chat. All are welcome. And for up-to-date and further information on our services, visit their website www.regenthall.org. And the Bible says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from ourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, so that no one can boast." And that's found in Ephesians 2. Lindsay, we're moving to Lindsay Old Parish Church, that is. Sunday worship is at 11am. A creche is available for children under 3. And the Quilt and Craft Group meet every Wednesday 10am to 12 noon in the session room. Thursday afternoon club is on Thursday, February the 27th from 2 till 4pm. Enjoy tea, coffee and home baking, followed by a game of Scrabble, Dominoes, Rubik's Cube or Uno. If preferred, you can sit back and chat or do your knitting. Yes, come along there and just chill. Sunday country dancing is on every Thursday at 7:15pm till 9:30. Come along for fun, fitness, friendship, and you'll be made very welcome. Now to Bishopbriggs, to Kenmure Parish Church. Sunday begins with our popular First Sunday Club at 11am for the young and the young at heart. Later, the Reverend Susan Anderson will lead us in our service of worship, which will include the Holy Sacrament of Communion. Visitors to the area will be made welcome to our services, and you can attend either in person or online on our YouTube channel. The service on YouTube can be watched live as it is streamed or later at a time that suits you. And you can find our channel by simply searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. There will be a period of fellowship following the service in the hall when teas, coffees, juice and biscuits are served. More details of our group may be found on the WhatsApp section of their website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find out more, check out their Facebook, search for Kenmure Parish Church. And if you'd like to join our WhatsApp group or receive Bible studies, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. And now back to Lindsay Union Parish Church, that is. The Sunday service is at 11am. Young people are also welcome at Lighthouse and Bible class. Live stream of the service will be available on YouTube. You also have the meeting place open for tea, coffee and home baking every Wednesday 10 till 12 noon. in the new hall. Everyone from the young to the young at heart is welcome to attend. We also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. And the Lindsay Union Bridge Club is on Wednesdays in the Old Hall at 1 till 3 p.m. Come play this classic game. Yes, bridge. Not something I know myself, but come along and play that. And then on Friday, if you want another cup of coffee, come to the Coffee Pot, which opens on Fridays. Tea, coffee, home baking, a warm, friendly atmosphere for all ages. And the Guild Coffee Morning on Saturday, March the 1st in the new hall, 10 till 12 noon. All are welcome. Tickets are £4. Home baking and bric-a-brac stalls. Warm World Day of Prayer celebrated in over 120 countries. Join us at 1:30 p.m. on Friday, March the 7th in a worship service prepared by women in the Cook's Islands theme, I Made You Wonderful. A warm welcome awaits you. Silver Movers Monday, March the 3rd at 1:30 p.m. in the Old Hall. A little light exercise and a lot of laughing. All you need is comfortable clothes and some water. Yeah, go along for that if you want a wee laugh and a wee bit of movement. And then we go to St David's, now known as SDMPC. Sunday worship on March the 2nd is at the usual time of 10:30am and will be led by Karen and Beth Wallace and David Forsyth. The sermon will be one in an occasional series on the Book of Psalms, looking at Psalm 121. Our weekly lunchtime service is on March the 4th at 12 noon. You're invited to stay after both services for tea and coffee and chat. March the 5th is Ash Wednesday, the beginning of the season of Lent. Our Lent cluster evenings are being held at the St David's Memorial Park Church every Wednesday in Lent, 7 p.m. in the Large Hall, and we'll be continuing the film showing of The Chosen. The Chosen is a film that's come out, and there's a various series of it about the life of Christ. And we also have carpet bowls on Wednesday afternoons from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. All are welcome, ladies and gents, that is. For more details, please call 0141 776 4989. And now to St Mary's Parish Church in Kirkintilloch. On Sunday, March the 2nd, we will be celebrating the Sacrament of Holy Communion, and we'd love to see you along there and to hear what they have to say. And that'll be led by Ruth Morrison, the minister there. I think there's a misprint here. Basically, it'll be an all-age service suitable for young as well. And during the service, Wednesday's welcome continues on Wednesday, February the 26th, when tea, coffee, home baking will be available from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m., when a short service will be led by the minister on that time. Our monthly church open doors takes place on Wednesday, March the 5th, from 10 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Tea and coffee with biscuits will be available all day. The Kirkintilloch Ladies Choir will provide musical entertainment from 12:30 p.m. and you are very welcome to come along and enjoy a lunch, eat while enjoying the singing from this talented group of ladies. Pancake lunch takes place on Sunday, March the 9th, and a ticket costing £1 plus a donation on the day will be on sale after the service on Sunday, March the 2nd. And lastly, to Torrance Parish Church that is. The morning service in person is at 10:30 a.m, conducted by the minister Stuart Irvin. During the service, the youngsters meet together in creche. Junior Church and Frog, as member Frog, Friends of God, they join the service online as well. So if you go into their website, torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday, 9 till 12 noon for teas, coffees and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? The Boys Brigade meet on Wednesdays, 7 till 9 p.m. for P70S6. And to find out about other regular weekly services, check out their website on the What's On. So it's www.tpc.org.uk. And that's all the church news for this week. Thank you for listening, if you're still listening thus far. And I look forward to sharing again next week more about the church news and what's happening in our local area. God bless you, take care and look after yourself. And remember, God loves you.
District News General. Meet Lawson, a 2-year-old big friendly German Shepherd. Playful Lawson needs a home. Lawson, a young and energetic lad, is at his best when spending time with his human friends doing one-to-one training and playing games. He makes friends quickly, and once you have a strong bond, Lawson will show you his goofy side. This incredibly handsome boy is also very bright and enjoys learning new things, so Lawson would like adopters who will keep his mind and body occupied. He is looking for experienced owners, familiar with the shepherd breed, who will continue his training and who are able to manage his strength on the lead. He would love to be taken on lots of exciting walking adventures in quiet areas. If you think Lawson is the lad for you, please visit www.dogstrust.org.uk. Citizens Advice Bureau. East and Bartonshire Citizens Advice Bureau give notice of their annual general and public meeting to be held on Monday, March 24, 2pm at Bishopbriggs War Memorial Hall, 1A, Balmuldy Road, Glasgow, G64 3BS. Nominations to board from interested parties welcomed. Please advise if you can attend. 0141 775 3220 or by email bureau@easternbartoncab.casonline.org.uk. Horticultural Society. Our next meeting at Enterprise House will be on Thursday, March the 20th, when Jim Germain will be telling us about Branklin Garden. New members are always welcome and can contact Paul Malcolm on 0141 578 1520 or visit www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. The King's Theatre Glasgow are delighted to announce that the major UK tour of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, based on the 1994 Oscar-winning film, is set to hit the stage for the first Scottish dates of the tour at the venue from Tuesday the 2nd to Saturday the 7th of March 2026. From the producers of Hairspray the Musical, The Full Monty and Shrek the Musical, the return of this iconic award-winning musical will be directed by Olivia Award-nominated Ian Talbot OBE, with choreography by Olivia Award winner Matt Cole, with set and lighting design by Andrew Exeter. The sassy and joyous Broadway and West End hit musical follows a hilarious and heartwarming journey as three friends travel across Australia in a dilapidated bus nicknamed Priscilla to put on the show of a lifetime. Featuring a hit parade of dance floor classics as well as garnering international acclaim, at its core, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert's enduring appeal lies in its heartfelt exploration and celebration of identity, diversity, and the journey towards self-acceptance. Challenging societal norms and the importance of embracing one's true self, the characters confront prejudice and adversity. They also discover the strength found in unity, friendship, and the beauty of authentic expression. Packed full of dazzling dance routines, a sparkling array of spectacular costumes, and an iconic soundtrack of 80s and 90s disco anthems, including Hot Stuff, I Will Survive, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Finally, and more. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is an exuberant celebration of acceptance and belonging, bursting at the seams with humour, heart and spectacle. Organ Recital. St Bride's beautiful William Hill organ, nearly 160 years old, has been restored to its former glory. Join them for a monthly recital from a selection of experienced and talented organists. The next recital is on March the 2nd at 1pm with St David Hamilton, St Mary's Episcopal Church, Hamilton and University of Strathclyde. Free admission, donations to the Robert Lamont Music Fund welcome. St Bride's Church, 69 Highland Road, Glasgow, West End, G129UX. Visit www.stbridesglasgow.org. That's www.stbridesglagow.org for full details. Westminster View. Mobile phones may add to education, by Susan Murray MP. In Mid Dunbartonshire, we're rightly proud of our schools. Despite the financial climate, they are some of the best performing in the country and equip our young people with the skills and knowledge they need for their futures. They are not, however, immune from the challenges of modern education, including the thorny topic of the use of mobile phones as part of lessons. Whether or not to incorporate pupils' phones into their education evokes strong and legitimate feelings on both sides of the argument. To some, mobiles are now so much part of life that removing them from the classroom is akin to removing computers or any modern technology, making school a strange retro experience unsuitable for the demands of modern life. There is also the argument that says that phones are a great way to access the vast array of information on the internet, including specially designed education apps, software and other resources such as BBC Bitesize. Others, meanwhile, maintain that the potential distractions caused by their presence in class makes it more difficult for teachers to teach, and there are other concerns around their use in bullying or other unfortunate elements of young life. What is needed is a balanced approach, which East and Bartonshire schools have worked towards and others may consider adopting. If pupils are to be allowed to use their devices in class, then it should be supervised closely by teachers and any incorrect behaviour or use dealt with appropriately. This includes causing distractions to fellow pupils. Moreover, special care should be taken to bring all pupils, regardless of socio-economic background, along with the whole class. We cannot have this situation, which we regrettably saw during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, in which pupils from more affluent backgrounds gained an unfair advantage over their peers by virtue of the more advanced technology they had at their disposal. The use of technology, including mobile phones, in class can have a beneficial impact for pupils, but only if it is properly controlled and implemented with sensitivity and caution. That was a Westminster View by Susan Murray MP, read by me, Ian.
Sport. Beyond the Game. Written by Brian Yule, read by Alan Todd. Ashfield Football Academy has received £4,500 from the Allied Vehicles Charitable Trust towards its latest project, Beyond the Game, empowering youth and coaches for community impact. The Academy offers structured football development for approximately 200 players from grassroots to semi-professional levels. Supported by over 40 dedicated volunteers, it fosters discipline, encourages teamwork, and builds leadership skills, preparing young people for success both on and off the pitch. The Beyond the Game project will use football as a platform to promote personal development, mental health awareness, and employability. The Academy is also planning a football festival this summer to bring the community together for sport and social engagement, while participating in workshops which will focus on essential life skills such as CV building and job readiness. Additionally, volunteer coaches will receive development in football training, first aid and mental health first aid, ensuring they can provide meaningful support to young people facing challenges in their everyday lives. Ashfield Football Academy Managing Director Paul Maxwell said, "We're incredibly grateful to Allied Vehicles Group for their continued generosity and unwavering support over the past decade. Their £4,500 donation is a tremendous boost to our mission of empowering young people and volunteer coaches through football mental health support and life skills development. This funding will allow us to make a real difference in our community, creating inclusive opportunities and fostering stronger relationships. Allied Vehicles' belief in our vision inspires us to keep growing and striving to make a lasting impact. The funding will support the festival, training programmes and outreach efforts." Jerry Facena, founder and owner of Allied Vehicles Group, said, "Allied Vehicles has been a proud supporter of Ashfield football for many years, and we're delighted to help them continue their fantastic work. We're excited to see the positive impact of this project on the young people in our local community." Written by Brian Yule, read by Alan Todd. Sport. Drivers get ready to burn rubber in the new season. Written by Jim Turner, read by Alan Todd. What a season it promises to be at Cowdenbeath Racewall with the return of the Knockhill Tri-Oval, the Chevy-powered Brisca Formula 1s, mini-stocks and V8s after a few years' absence. The first practice meetings took place on Saturday with a second on March 2nd, ahead of the season running from March 8th to October 27th. The highlight of the campaign will undoubtedly be the Formula 2 World Final on September 5th to 7th. Also in action are the Heritage Formula 2 cars, who have the Gold Cup and Scottish Open Championship to decide. There are 3 Formula 2 World Qualifying rounds in Scotland this year at Racewall, Knockhill and Crimmond to secure a place in the semi-finals at Taunton in August. The saloon drivers have their European Championship over the weekend of June 7th and 8th, while the British Stock Rod Championship is at Racewell on May 10th. Over the weekend of May 24th, 25th, the Formula 1s return to Scotland for the Scottish Championship at Knockhill and World Championship qualifying at Racewall. The V8 Hot Stocks are in action on May 4th, when they have a Scottish Championship and World Championship qualifying list to decide. There are Scottish Championship for all the domestic Formula, World Cups for unlimited bangers, and Pro Stock plus plenty of other trophy meetings. The Formula 2 Scottish Championship is at Crimmond this season, running from the first meeting to the last, with designated events counting. Written by Jim Turner, read by Alan Todd. Sport. Cooperation to enhance the youths. Written by Martin Simpson, read by Alan Todd. The SFA and SPFL have announced a new cooperation system aimed at enhancing youth player development in Scotland. The two governing bodies also intend a reformatting of the Challenge Cup, with the plans set to be implemented from the 2025-26 season. The new cooperation system is set to provide greater flexibility to the existing domestic loan quotas. This will enable players in the key transition phase of 16 to 21, who are eligible to represent Scotland, to join a lower league club, but be able to move between parent and cooperation club throughout the season to increase playing time. The proposal has been passed by clubs following extensive consultation since the SFA's transition report, which sought to establish trends in successful player development from across the world, was published last year. The new Challenge Cup format for season 2025-26 has also, after a recommendation from the SPFL Competitions Working Group, been approved by the SPFL board. The new setup will include Premiership B teams in a league phase format, aiming to provide more opportunities for players under 21 as they move from the academy environment to senior football. SFA Chief Executive Ian Maxwell said, "This is a significant step forward in enhancing first-team opportunities for the most talented young players in Scotland." The publication of the transition report brought home not only the alarming trend of young players getting less and less game time, but it also included a series of practical solutions that have worked in leagues across the world. We are pleased clubs have bought into the principles of the report, and that the first two innovations have been approved in time for next season. Neil Doncaster, Group Chief Executive of the SPFL, added, "There are few things more exciting for football fans than a young player breaking through the system and making a successful impact on the first team. We believe this new cooperation system and new Challenge Cup format will help encourage more players to come through, which can only be good for the league and the men's national team." Written by Martin Simpson, read by Alan Todd. Sport. Rob Royboss is on the hunt for new recruits. Written by Brian Yule, read by Alan Todd. Kirkintilloch Rob Royboss John Gibson is trying to bring in new players to help the club in its relegation battle. Rob Roy remained in the bottom three of the West of Scotland First Division after losing a last-minute goal in the 2-1 defeat at home to co-winning Rangers. The home side suffered a blow even before kick-off when Scott Gibson was injured in the warm-up and had to be replaced by Toby Ferry. Co-winning took the lead after 15 minutes when Brian Boylan rounded Kyle Aitken and put the ball into an empty net. Rob Roy levelled 2 minutes from time with a header from Scott Bowman, but the visitors went straight up the other end for Lawrence Hendry to grab the winner. Gibson told the club's media team, "I was pretty happy with the first half despite losing a poor goal. We then equalised, but 2 lapses in concentration have cost us and we need to do better. I tried to get some bodies in last week. We need cover at right back and tried to bring in a couple of strikers too, but it never happened. Hopefully something will happen this week, but you can't take anything for granted because other clubs are in the market as well. Rob Roy were at Irvine Meadow last night, Tuesday, before heading to Auchinleck Talbot in the South Challenge Cup on Saturday. The victory sees Kilwinning be one of 4 clubs locked on 33 points at the top of the table, the group also containing Petershill, who won 7-1 away to Ashfield. Caledonian Locomotives also had no problem finding the net, as they won 6-1 at home to Bellshill Athletic in the 2nd Division. Finnart lost 5-3 at home to Glasgow University in the 3rd Division, while Glasgow Perthshire were beaten 2-0 at Vale of Leven. West Park United gave their promotion hopes a boost with a 2-0 win at home to Easterhouse in the 4th Division. Saturday fixtures: South Challenge Cup, quarter-final. Auchinleck Talbot versus Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. 1st Division: Irvine Meadow versus Ashfield. Petershill versus Rutherglen Glencairn. 2nd Division: Cambuslang Rangers versus Caledonian Locomotives. 3rd Division: Finnart versus Vale of Leven. Glasgow Perthshire versus Thorn Athletic. 4th Division: Carluke Rovers versus West Park United. Rossvale versus Eglinton. Written by Brian Yule. Read by Alan Todd. Sport. Mochalo makes her return to City. Uncredited. South African international Linda Mochalo has returned to Glasgow City following a spell in America. The midfielder joined NWSL side Racing Louisville for an undisclosed fee last January, but after only making 3 appearances, her contract was terminated by mutual consent this month. This opened the door for Mochalo to make her return to Petershill Park, having previously made 34 appearances in a City shirt. The 26-year-old, who has been capped 83 times by her country, said, "I'm so happy to be back. This place brings back a lot of great memories. Glasgow will always be like a second home. I didn't even think twice when they called to say I could come back. I've come at a time when it's really hectic, so it's going to be demanding for me to catch up, but I like the direction of where the team is going." Head coach Leanne Ross was pleased to add more quality to her squad as City are locked in a 4-way battle for the SWPL 1 title. She said, "Linda is someone I know well from her time with the club previously, and I'm excited to see what she will bring into the squad." When the opportunity to bring her back to Glasgow City came along, it was an easy decision to make. A player with undoubted quality, Linda will bring an experience on the pitch and a personality off it as we work hard to achieve our goals this season. City return to action this Sunday as they host Motherwell, while Rossvale women head to Livingston in SWPL 2. Read by Alan Todd.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.